Hi friends, I finally have a chance to sit down today and make a video after so long. School has been throwing hands. It's been a lot, but I finally have a chance to make this video, and I want to talk about this topic because it comes up so much. And yeah, I've just been thinking about it lately, and I've been thinking about how different people at different points in their life think about church and church going very differently, and how I usually have a very different idea, different experience with church than most Christians, hence why the Christian comes up so much. And I find myself having to explain so much why I don't go to church and why I don't intend to join a church anymore. It wasn't always like this. Yeah, but before I get into all of that and all that, I want to thank you for just clicking and watching this video and wanting to hear what it is that I have to say. And if you are watching my videos for the first time, welcome. Please like, please subscribe, please leave a comment. Thank you. So why I don't go to church, why I don't intend on becoming a church member anytime soon, or probably ever. Well, not ever, just not in the way that I thought that I would, not in the time frame that I thought it would happen, and not in the way that I thought it would happen initially. It's connected to the reason why I even started this YouTube channel, and this desire that I have to create a growth-oriented space, and to become a part of something like that. It started from, well, the beginning. And if you don't know, if you're watching my videos for the first time, I left my old church last year, like in the middle of the year. And when I left my old church, I had every intention of going back to church or finding a new church. I remember when I spoke to my discipler and I told her that I was leaving a church, first order of business was, oh, we need to get you a new church. I mean, after she had come to terms with the fact that I was leaving, she really helped me to try and find a new church. And it was this really like urgent thing, like, let me call my friends, let me ask somebody, let me find something for you, right? And even with the pastor, it was the same thing. Like the parting words that he shared with me was, I hope you find a home, and all these things. So it was very consecrated into my mind that I needed to find a church. And I did exactly that. I think that I wouldn't have even left my old church were it not for the separation, like the time that I spent away, because I was already having thoughts that I had to leave before the June holiday, that I had to go back home. And then I had that entire holiday, and I told myself at the start of the holiday, you need to have made a decision by the time you go back, because I was going back and forth in my head, like, do I stay? But it was very difficult. So I knew that staying would have been very difficult for me to do, wouldn't have been good for me, because I was already struggling, the turmoil in my heart with, I don't believe the same thing as these people, but I love them so much and I really want to be a part of this, and it hurts too much. So it's like this, it's not as simple as I don't believe the same as them, I'm going to leave. There's that emotional connection with these people who welcomed me in and were so good to me when I first became a Christian, and now I see things so differently from them. It's hard for me to even think of the fact that I have to sit on Sunday, or I can't attend certain things, like the young adult session, because that's more like theological talk, and things like the theological differences that I had with the church would come up even more then. It was just a battle inside of me, and I feel like deep down I knew that there was no way I could stay, but my heart was really slow in accepting that. So by the end of that holiday, the reason that the thing that finally convinced me, that finally like consecrated, like I'm not gonna go back, that I never even went back after that holiday ever, was just reading. I just made myself read the confession again, and I'd say to myself, there's just no way. In my heart, I really I thought that I could just speak to them and I could make them see things the way that I saw them, and I could make them see the error. And I would fantasize about that, about just it being like that, and it being like this happy ending where, oh, thank you so much for showing me and everything. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized how unrealistic that is, with how deeply embedded Reformed teaching is. It's the foundation basically of the church. It's what makes them different from other churches, and it's the confession that they hold to, the 1689 Baptist confession, that I read it and I said, there's just no way. And yeah, that was what finally made me decide I'm gonna go. So when I left the church and I started looking for different churches, I was still having conversations with people from my old church back and forth. And I was at a stage where I was very angry at myself, but also angry at the pastor. You know, I respected him so much. And I'm not saying I was justified in my anger. That's just how I felt at the time. I was like, how could he teach me something so blatantly without telling me that it has a name and it has a title and it has all these things that come with it? Like, it was just taught to me, like presented to me like this is just deeper Christian doctrine that you didn't know before, and now you're learning about it. And then also really disappointed in myself that I could have even been in a position that I could have been duped into believing that. But that was my friend. But at the same time, I didn't know any better. I was just a new Christian. Of course, I was going to believe that, you know, if it was presented to me like, oh, this is the truth, which is how it was. So yeah, I was just like, how could I fall for something that's so easily disprovable? And because it was so easily disprovable and I could see that, I thought that all I had to do was just say that to people and then they would see it the way that I see it. It would be like a light bulb moment. I was so naive about why people believe the things that they believe. It's not as easy as this is wrong, this is right, and oh, you know, there's a lot that goes into why people think the way that they do, why they believe the things that they believe. That's the reason why there's like so many different sects of Christianity. If it was just as simple as here's the truth, there would just be one church, right? One united, universal church with everyone who believes all the same things, because we all claim to believe and live by the same book, but we believe so differently, and as a result of that we live so differently. So after that I went to different churches. I tried so many things, and I think very quickly I realized I didn't relate with the people at all these churches, and the reason for that was that none of them had seen the things that I'd seen, so they didn't know the things that I knew, and it was hard. So many things were hard, like sitting under teaching was hard for so many reasons that I'm not going to get into now. Even listening to music was hard. I was just like, wait, you know, a lot of me was just like, why do we say this? Why do we sing this? You know, is this biblical? Is it, you know, it was just a lot happening in my head. I'm attending a service, but my head is at 1,000 miles an hour, like just spinning. It was difficult. It was turmoil. It was hard. It was painful. So I feel like that's the part that is not spoken about enough. Is yes, I left the church, and usually now I can talk about it with laughing and smiling, but there was a time where, man, it was difficult, it was hard, it was painful. It's still the most painful thing that I've ever gone through in my life. And I just, yeah, you know, so I moved from that church, and I moved and I became very anti-Calvinistic. So it was a very big thing to me at that point. It was, you can't believe this, it's wrong, it's false. And I really had this deep need inside of me to show everyone that they're so wrong. But as time passed, it moved from being me being anti-Calvinistic to me being pro-growth, and the fact that it's not just about the fact that Calvinism is wrong, it's about how it stunts the Christian growth, how it stunts your spiritual growth, and how it prevents you from truly living and absorbing, growing into everything that you can in Christ. So yeah, I was quite rivalrous at that point, but I'm not anymore. There's certain things that I'm just not interested in right now anymore. Like not interested in debating theology in a rivalrous way. I don't want to sit across from me and have us tell each other how wrong we are, how wrong you think I am, and how wrong I think you are, which I thought it was that simple back then, but now I'm not interested in that. If I were to have I'm very open to having conversations with people about the differences that we see in scripture, but not if it's in like a debate mindset. It has to be a growth-oriented approach of both of us are after the truth, you know, and we are wanting to know that, not just wanting to disprove each other, you know. So yeah, the reason why I even made this video is not because the thing is, I understand where people are coming from. I understand why people are worried. Even to this day, every single time people ask me, why don't you go to church? And which church do you attend? And my answer is, I don't go to any church. And, oh, haven't you found a church? You should visit my church. And I'll probably say, oh yeah, I will, which I probably would. But for the most part, I'm just not interested. If I'm being very honest, like, I'm just not interested. And that's not because I'm dismissive or like thinking there's nothing for me there. It's just that I've seen it, I've tried it, and it's just it's not what I need right now at the place that I'm at the stage that I'm at. It's not what I need. And I feel like it probably will never be. But yeah, so anyway, most people worry about me when I say that, like they're well-meaning. I'm not even saying it's like coming from a bad place. So I don't fault them for worrying or thinking that, oh, she's backslidden or she's gonna fall into sin and all these things. But honestly, I've never been better. I've never felt more knowledgeable. I've never felt more like I've been growing. I've been out of church for a very long time, like practically my whole Christian life, except for that first quarter at the start. And I'm thriving. I'm honestly, it's great. Obviously, I want to grow alongside other people, but my answer to that is that it's really not that simple. It's not that I don't want that. I want that with my whole being, my whole heart. I understand that the Christian life cannot and should not be lived in isolation. I know that. So when people say things like, no, you shouldn't forsake the assembly, I know. Honestly, guys, I know. It's just that it's not that simple. It really isn't. It's very difficult to find people of like mind. There are so many churches and I've tried them all, and it's just not working for me, and I'm okay with that. I'm not thinking this is how it's always gonna be, but I see the bigger picture of why I think that I'm not fitting in there, which that's another video. I think I spoke about it a little bit in the other video that I made about, I forgot what it was about, but yeah, anyway. So yeah, so I've sort of moved from that mindset of wanting everyone to see what I see and agree with me and come on with me. I'm just really okay with letting people be where they are, and I'm okay with where I am at. I see myself as a Christian, and I'm on a growth path that I feel like cannot be facilitated at any church that I've been to at this point in time. And I'm in a position, I'm in a state of transition where I'm so certain and I'm so sure of everything that I don't want, everything that I've grown out of, everything that I just don't want to fall back into, and the things that are definitely behind me. And that's very clear to me. This is what I don't want, but the pathway ahead is not very clear right now. So I cannot sit here and tell you this is what I am planning on doing, because I don't know, but I'm totally okay with it. It's fine. Like, honestly, I'm okay, because I know that the things that I believe I'm so deeply secure in, that I don't need to have the backup of an in-group for them to be true. It's nice to have, obviously, like-minded people around you, but I don't need them to solidify or to make me stand firm in what I believe, because I'm secure in it. I don't think that my beliefs are going to disappear just because I don't have people backing me up on them. And the things that I do, I don't think that they're bad just because everyone else doesn't agree with me. I just think that I'm at a stage right now where I see things so clearly, but also so very differently from everyone else around me. So you might think I've backslidden. I feel like I haven't. I feel like, if anything, quite the opposite. Yeah, so my thing is that, and I've said this in other videos, is that I wholeheartedly want to follow the evidence trail that God has given us so gratefully, has given me so gratefully, wherever it's going to lead, wherever it's going to lead me. And right now it's led me out of church. So yeah, I've just always been very secure. Even during all that turmoil and all that pain and hurt that I faced in the past, I was still very secure in my salvation. I never once doubted my salvation. I know that a lot of people go through that when they leave church. I never have. I never doubted Jesus or who he is. If anything, I just became so much more agentic. It made me realize the fact that my faith is truly mine, and it is my responsibility to make sure that I do God's will, which is for me to come to the knowledge of the truth. And that's the path that I've been on ever since then, and I'm going to stay on that path. So yeah, that's that. And truly, I just respect the place that people are at. I don't think that people are particularly wrong for being where they are at, but I think that right now my desire is for people who are where I am, to meet those people who are wanting or see things the way that I see them, so that we could, I don't know, But yeah, like I said, I'm okay with not knowing. I'm okay with not knowing where the path is, because I know that I am on the path that God wants me to be on right now. I'd much rather be in this position than to keep going back to the thing that I know is no good for me, is not serving me, which is trying to force church to work for me when it's clearly not working for me right now. It doesn't make me a bad Christian. It doesn't mean that I lack faith. It doesn't mean any of that stuff. So it just means that I see things very differently from other people. And yeah, it's okay. Anyway, thank you so much for watching the video. If you even got this far, if you have any thoughts, please leave that in the comments. And I can't wait to make another video. And I think that I have a bit of time now, but you never know when something's gonna pop up. Like with my degree, it's just a mess. But yeah, hopefully I can make another video tomorrow, because I have so many things that I want to talk about. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. Bye guys.